ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुर्वे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. So we are doing the first section of Isopanishad. Last week we did verse 2 and 3, which is a part of proprietorship in the laws of the God. So just as a revision, today's revision will be done by Bhakti Vijaya Mataji, verse 2, and Raghavi Mataji will do the verse 3. So I'll hand it over to Vijaya Mataji. Mataji, if you have some PowerPoint or screen share, I can just stop.
No problem. No, Prabhuji. I will just
Okay.
read from my notes.
Sure. I have the verse on the screen if you want.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
So, do I sing the verse or
Not really. We can just read the translation.
translation?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. But that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man. So, this Isopanishad second verse is talking about the Ishavasya principle, which was established in the verse 1. Last week, I remember Charu Mataji was talking about the Ishavasya principle, or we discussed in the class as well. Ishavasya is basically that is Isha Supreme Lord, and then Vasya is control. So that everything is what we have is controlled by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, that we need to respect it, and we need to also look after it, and that's what we discussed in the last revision as well. That basically, I remember you talked about that if someone gives us a car, then we look after the car nicely, we don't misuse it. The same way that because the Krishna has provided everything to us, so we look after and we live in harmony. And at the same time we use what is belong to us, and use only our part of quota, not everyone else's as well. Like in means like we don't we don't become greedy. So here the two important words or the sentences that I would is that working in that way. So in that way is refers to Ishavasya principle. So what I just said, that that we need to work in harmony and live in harmony, and then if when we do that, then and continue to do our work, making like within the principle of Ishavasya, then we will not bind any law, any karma, any reactions to it. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, like, to begin with in the paragraph 1, that, he begins with saying, no one wants to die. Everyone wants to live as long as he can. So there was a question, like, why no one wants to die. And Prabhuji, you said, like, that it's because we all had, like, different answers, saying, like, because of desire and this. But then what is the reason behind it? And when we looked into it, that the reason is that we all know that we are Satchidananda Vigraha, we are the parts and parcel of Krishna. So we have these qualities, in minute form, deep down in our heart. But however, with the prakriti that we living in, that we forget that we are like not the body, we are the soul. We forget that, and then we think that we want to enjoy. And that's why that, we become asat, and nira as. Sat is that eternal, and then we become asat. That means that we are comparing ourselves with not, like, we're comparing ourselves with, I'm sorry,
Non-permanent things.
not permanent things. Yes. And so basically because of that, then, we become niranand. We don't have that quality of ananda. And then, our form, that vigraha, that is basically we are connecting ourselves with, or identifying ourselves with the body. That's why we become unhappy, and that actually leads to unhappiness, or unhappiness and miseries. And we also spoke about, like, Prabhupada further goes to say, like, this, here it says, this tendency is visible not only individually but also collectively. So it is we not only just identify, like, from our body or from our home, even, like, we identify ourselves as, like, within the mass community, thinking that we are going to do this forever, we will be flourish forever, or we will be, like, this religion or that community will be there forever. But it's not true. It's because, yes, we are identifying ourselves with the body. So moving on to the second paragraph, that Prabhupada ji is explaining about that other forms of lives are also subject to the cycle of birth and death. So the second paragraph is talks about that, that our other lives of forms also subject, it talks about it's how we get how our human life offers liberation through our karma. So basically that goes back to within the translation, which talks about, for that sort of work we will not bind him to the law of karma. That's what, when we go refer to the translation. So what kind of a work is that is very important. So when we talk about karma, there are um, three types of karma. Karma is the action that we do within the realm of scriptures. So that is karma. That is a good karma or karma. And then vikarma, which is not in accordance to the scriptures. So all the abominable activities, that does not support the scriptures. And then akarma is something that where you do it and you don't get any kind of you don't accrue any kind of fruitive results in a way. So here Prabhupada, in the translation, he explains that what is karma, vikarma, and akarma. And basically what we should be aspiring or we should be doing is that, you do your work. However, we do not do the work for the results of that work that we've done. So that at the end it says, like, that such liberating work is described in the pages of Sri Isopanishad. So that's what we are reading here, that how we can liberate ourselves by doing what we are doing, and how can we get close to Krishna. Moving to the third paragraph, it's says that Vedas ultimately leads to akarma. So correct me if I am wrong. I don't really exactly remember in the conversation. Although I heard the lecture over and over, that you spoke about Vedas. 75% of Vedas do talk about karma,
Karmakanda, Mataji.
karma kandi
Which
process.
is fruitive results.
Fruitive results. However, like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, that actually elevates, and it talks about how we can develop our love to Krishna through devotional service. So basically, Prabhupada's given us a very easy path to move forward, to reach our goal, which is the love of Godhead. So the second paragraph, I would say, like, the first paragraph, sorry, just give me 1 second. Yes, the second paragraph offers the solution. So the first paragraph gives the problem, and then the second para, it gives the solution to the problem. So it's basically that, what is the problem? That if we don't follow the Ishavasya principle, then we will become bound to the bind into the bondage of karma. But if we don't want, then what we need to do. So that is moving on, like, following the scriptures, like such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And then paragraph 4, which talks about bringing God into the how it describes how we can bring Krishna or God into our lives. And so even though if we are do follow or have the connections in terms of like sense gratification, because what I see is that we, even though we, like, as practicing devotees, we do so much of we are practicing. So basically we are doing, but we still continue to make mistakes. But this principle, or the way it shows how we can, while doing our karma, even though if it is sense gratification, how can we still, it will take us to basically to close to Krishna. I remember in last week's lecture you talked about that Manushyanam Sahasreshu. So it's like, it takes millions and millions of lifetimes, or millions and millions of millions of lifetimes for us to realize. So it is, even though we are continuing to make mistakes, but it is still, we are getting a step closer. Like, and the reference you said, like, Bhagavad Gita, Neha Vikrama Nashusti. So any kind of a small devotional service we do, it never go in vain, because it still adds into our spiritual bank account. So we need to continue, do what we need to do, and offer the results to Krishna. That's what it is. And then that's all, Prabhuji, and I think I might have missed couple of more things.
That's okay, Mataji. You covered the main points. That's the main thing. If anyone has any question, you can ask Mataji. Okay, thank you, Vijay Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I have one
Hare
question,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Okay, yes, to Mataji.
Yeah. When we talk about akarma, in this paragraph, Srila Prabhupada has said that without executing the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature, one cannot work in akarma. So sometimes it may be seen that somebody is not necessarily executing the prescribed duties and is actually acting whimsically, and plus engaging in devotional service. So would that be a karma or not a karma?
Sorry, Mata, can
So
you
there is
repeat
no
the
regulation,
last line?
basically. Okay, there is no regulation in a person's life. He or she is acting whimsically, as per what, but they are enthusiastic about doing devotional service. So they, as it is said here that one should work regulated way.
Yeah.
Only then one can execute a karma. So if that person is acting in a whimsical way and still engaging in devotional activities, would that be a karma or not a karma?
Yeah. Thank you. Nice question. Over to you, Bhakti Vijay Mataji.
Prabhuji, I could be wrong, but what Mataji's question or what my understanding is that, like, oh, I can support what I just said to when I was ending my talk about that we are still continuing to make mistakes, but however, if we are doing the devotional service or if we are being part of it, that is like an adding to our spiritual bank account. But however, acting whimsically, like in every action there is an equal reaction that we accumulate. I remember last week, Prabhuji, one of the Prasanand Prabhuji asked about, like, when we pay donation to the temple, in how, in the mode, what mode that we are doing our donation. If we are more donating in the mode of that I'm going to get this tax rebate, then that itself is, it's not, it's it's karma. Because you're not getting, you're getting yeah, you're getting the results, like, you're still waiting for the fruits of your act. But if you, same thing that, you do it, but then you do extra money with thinking that, that I am paying extra, even though I am getting that tax back, but I am still paying. So that becomes a karma. So it is depend on our thought and our consciousness and our act. So I think that's what my understanding, Mataji. Sorry, I could be wrong, but Prabhu
No,
can
no. You're
correct
right.
me.
You're right. So 2 points are there. As Bhakti Vijay Mataji mentioned, about 240 Neha Bikram Shostri. So even if I have done a small devotional service, it will come back. So next life, even if I've done 0.001%, next life I'll start from there. So when you're talking about Mataji, this person is very enthusiastic about devotional service, but besides that, he or she lives life whimsically. That's what the question is, right? So the answer is very simple, 4.11. So if this person, for example, doing 1% devotional service in a week, for example, 99% he or she lives in an unregulated way. But then 1%, 1%, 1%, as Bhakti Vijay Mataji was saying, will add up slowly, and he or she will continue in that direction. We all started like that, isn't it? We were all doing, nonsense, so many other things. But slowly we started coming to temple for eating prasadam. I came for prasadam. I still go for prasadam. So that was only one thing which we could connect with Krishna, directly speaking. And that's how it started. So this person, whatever devotional service he or she is involved in, that will add up to his or her spiritual bank account, and slowly that 1% will take over his whole life. As we were describing about Vaman Dev. So devotees are called as agents of Vaman Dev. They will just say, just come to our hall program, just come to our Sunday feast, just come to, this Bhakti Vaksha or whatever it is. And that's where it starts. So it's just a perfect example from all of our life, exactly same way. So that
And
1% act as a karma, and then 99% will be as karma or vikarma, whatever it is. And then slowly that akarma will start moving from 1% to 1.01%, 1.02%, and slowly he will get success. So it's very nice if he has
and
started the journey. Yes, Mataji.
you, Prabhuji, you mentioned last week about Prabhupada himself, that he had had so many people who used to be drug addicts or drunkards, and they would come, but he never said that no, because of your condition you can't come. He would still accept them and encourage them and fed them with prasadam, and then slowly, gradually, with the association, and then the hippies become happy. So the process is very evident that it will change, but then it takes longer.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And depending, and two aspects are also depending on how pure person is. So in this case, it was Prabhupada. He could uplift very fast. And in another case also, how sincere we are to accept the mercy. And Prabhupada gave one simple example. If sun is out there, and if I turn my head against sun, and I'll say, where is sun? Where is sun? Where is sun? Sun is just behind me, but I have myself turned away from the sun. So it depends on how much mercy is coming and how much I am taking. Many times there's a lot of mercy, we don't take it. We just shut ourselves. We have walls around us that I'm all right. I'm all right. I don't need anyone's support. Or maybe we'll read about it in NOI as well. Who is giving you mercy? A Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, or a Uttam Adhikari? So Uttam Adhikari will give you, for example, a bucket full of mercy. Madhyam can give you little. He can uplift you little. Kanishta may not be able to uplift you. So two ways to look at that scenario as well. So if he is associating with constantly Uttam Adhikari, no matter how unregulated his life is, he will become regulated very, very soon. But if he is associating with Kanishta Adhikaris, for example, it will take long. So that's why we have to choose our friendship, even our temple community, very nicely. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu said, as he always says in a poetic language, Rupa Goswami says we have to choose the like-minded association. Like-minded means I may have interest in Harinam, for example. You also have interest in Harinam. So we can have a like-minded association. But Prabhu also added on top of this, not only we need like-minded association, we also need right-minded association. Suppose I like to criticize devotees. And if you also like to criticize devotees, we'll sit down in the Sunday feast in the corner and we'll talk all the criticism about, 50 devotees. So that's not what we are like-minded, but we are not right-minded. So we have to find out who is like-minded in our seva, we are saying, and right-minded, who is uplifting us in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, why are we going to that particular place, which is meant for only one purpose, to uplift us?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Vijay Mataji, for the nice answer. Okay, I'll give it to Raghavi Mataji for verse 3. If you want to share your screen, Mataji, you can.
No, Prabhu, I'll just read from my notes.
No problem. Everyone is very enthusiastic about reading the notes. Okay, you're allowed to make PowerPoint, so we'll choose 2 devotees towards the end of this class, and you're allowed to make PowerPoints. But again, it's not compulsory because not everyone is capable of making. But I'm saying if you want to, you can. Okay, Mataji, please.
So yeah, I'll read the purport first and then I'll start explaining.
Just a translation, Mataji.
Yeah, the translation. Sorry.
Yes.
The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. So this mantra, so earlier, as Mataji said, mantra 2 explained about living in harmony with the Ishavasya principle, and this mantra talks about what happens when we don't live in harmony with the Ishavasya principle. And here in the shloka, the first word asurya, it has got a lot of meanings. The literal translation is demon. But actually, because usually when we think about Asurya, demon, we think of usually having 10 heads or weird teeth and all the scary appearances. But it's not just the appearance, but it is all about the mentality as well. Because some people can be like a normal human being, but they might have very demonic mentality. So even with the mind also, you can be a demon. You doesn't really have to be demon by the physical appearance. And the other meaning is also the other meaning for Asurya is one who does not follow Lord Vishnu. He is also called a Asura. And there are a couple of meanings. So and one more meaning is the word Asu. Asu means jaldi jaldi, or who wants to quickly do things. And Ra is the body. So one who wants to enjoy the body very quickly. he is also called a asura. And asu is also the other meaning of asu is breathe, and ra is the body again. So who wants to enjoy?
So Ra means here we can say breath and Ramte. So Ra
Ram-
means Ramte. Like Ram is also Ramte means who gives Ananda.
Okay.
So another meaning of Ra is Ramte or taking Ananda, taking enjoyment in the breath.
So that is there. So here it says namate loka. So they will go to that loka which is andhena. Andhena means darkness, tamasa. So the ignorance they'll go to that loka which is covered by darkness and ignorance. And tamaste. So that loka, so they'll achieve that loka after the death. Pretya means after death. Abhigachanti means will attain or that loka. And the person, so the word here, the important word is atma hano means he's the killer of the soul. So the killer of the soul doesn't literally mean he's killing the soul, because in Bhagavad Gita it is clearly written that soul cannot be killed, or it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed or created. So but here the metaphorical meaning of this word, it means actually you're killing the spiritual consciousness of the soul. It's not actually you're killing the soul, but you are taking away the spiritual awareness of the soul. Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah, Mataji, can I just stop here and just a discussion point here?
Yes, Prabhu.
Last week I didn't discuss. So my question to all of you is why we are not taking a literal meaning here? Mataji said it's a metaphorical meaning, not a literal meaning. Why? Because many times we say Bhagavad Gita as it is, we should take, the meanings as it is. But here we are saying it's a metaphorical meaning, not a literal meaning. My question is why? Anyone else can respond.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I think one answer can be the soul is actually eternal in itself. So it does not have any, it cannot be cut into pieces or cannot be burned, cannot be destroyed in any way.
Yeah.
So the general tendency of the soul is to be eternal.
Yeah, so my question is, you're right, Prabhu, and Mataji also mentioned that. Nanam Chintani Shastani, Nanam Dhati Pavka. My question is, why we are not taking literal meaning here? Kill the soul, like kill the soul. Hanu mane kill, Atma mane, soul, kill. What you said is correct. I'm just trying to link these two sentences, that's all.
Yeah, I think it means that we are wasting the human form of life, basically, in not using our free will to achieve the goal which it is meant for, and that's what the analogy is, like killing the soul. That's what it means.
Okay. Yeah, so that's true, Prabhu. Again, what you said is correct. The actual answer to that question is many times in Shastra, literal meaning does not make sense. So every word can have 2 to 3 meanings. So one can be a mukhya meaning, the primary meaning. Another meaning can be a God meaning. God means secondary meaning. So usually we take the primary meaning of the word, but when the primary meaning does not make sense, like here, you cannot kill a soul. As per our knowledge, it's a first knowledge of the Vedas. We cannot be killed. The soul cannot be killed. So now this verse is saying soul can be killed. That means the literal meaning should not be taken. What we have to take? We have to take the secondary meaning. Now, secondary meaning can also be divided into 2 parts. One can be an ethical meaning, another can be metaphorical meaning. Madhacharya says the word can carry 3 meanings. So one can be the primary meaning, which is the literal meaning of the word. Second can be the ethical meaning of the word. And third can be metaphorical meaning. Now, depending on the context, we have to take the meaning. And that's why sometimes Shastra can be very bewildering and we need the help of Acharya to understand. Now, here we cannot take a literal meaning because soul cannot be cut into or killed. Cut into pieces or killed or anything cannot be done to the soul. So literal meaning does not make sense. Then we have to go to the secondary meaning, which is the ethical or metaphorical meaning. So here we understand this is a metaphor. Metaphor means as good as killing a soul. It's not literally killing a soul. One example Madhacharya gave from Ramayana. Sita Mata went to the forest, and in the forest he saw a deer, a golden deer, and she said to Lord Ram, can you please get me the golden deer? Did it happen or no? Yes, it happened. It's a historical event. It happened. You can even go to the place and have a look at where Mother Sita was living, where Lord Ram was living and all that. It's a literal meaning. So here literal meaning makes sense or no? Makes sense. So we take it as it is. Now, ethical meaning means what can we learn from this instance? One learning is, as soon as Sita Mata got attracted to something other than Lord Ram, she was in trouble. Is that right or wrong? She got attracted something other than Lord Ram. And Lord Ram did mention initially, don't worry about it. Lakshman also said, don't worry about it. The Sita Mata, nahi, chahiye hi chahiye. And they mentioned, now it's a pastime, but Sita Mata also giving a ethical meaning. What's the ethical meaning? We should always focus on Lord and nothing else. What's the metaphorical meaning? Madhacharya gives a third meaning here. He says metaphorical meaning is Sita represents us, Jiva. Huh? When Jiva get distracted with other than Krishna or Ram here, then what happens? This Jiva, Sita, gets into trouble. What makes the trouble? Ravan. Ravan is considered our mind. Our mind is like Ravan. Anything and everything. So much lust, greed, anger is there. 10 heads of Ravan represents our 10 senses. 5 karmendriya and 5 jnanendriya. And then Ravan, mind, takes the Sita, Jiva, away and puts it where? Into the Lanka. Lanka represents this body. So our body is represented by Lanka. So Lanka is such a place where you cannot come out. You cannot come out on your own, right? Lanka was in the middle of the ocean. Sita could not come out. But Sita could only be rescued by whom? By another Vaishnava coming in and rescuing Sita. And who's that Vaishnava? That's a Guru Tattva, that's Hanumanji. So Hanumanji comes and finds this person and goes back to the Lord and says, this person wanted him or her to be rescued. Then Lords come with Vanar Sena. Vanar is actually another word of Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas are also called Vanar. Now, Vanar does not always mean monkeys. Vanar has many meanings. So Vaishnavas are also called Vanar. So Hanumanji, which represents Guru Tattva, comes with Vanar Sena, with Lord Ram obviously, and then rescue Mother Sita. So this is called metaphorical meaning. So depending on the context, we take the meaning. So here or anywhere else, when literal meaning does not make sense, we have to go to the secondary meaning. And there can be ethical meanings or it can be metaphorical meanings as well. Sorry, I thought we'll just discuss that. So Raghi Mataji, please continue.
So yeah, so we'll go to the purport now. So in the first paragraph of the purport, it talks about who is Asura. So as I've already told, what are the different meanings of Asura here? Basically, the person who does not understand what the actual purpose of his life is, and who does not, or who neglects his the real purpose of his life, which is the self-realization, he is called Asura. And
sorry, Mata, just on that one. So how many Asuras are there in this world right now? As per this definition, what Mataji just read.
Everybody is Asura.
Everybody is Asura. I was hearing one class and it says, in the previous ages like Treta, Dwapar and Satyuga, even Asuras will go to do tapasya. Hiranyakashipu went for tapasya, 36,000 years or 55,000 years, whatever it was. Why did he go for tapasya, you know? Because he knew he's going to die and he has to do something for not dying. Tarkasur went for that. So many Asuras will go. They actually knew the purpose that I have to do something before I die. Now, today's man, so-called developed nations man, actually is degraded even from those Asuras. Why? We have no idea what's the purpose of our life. Ani bhutani gachanti. We see Pashyan apina pashyati. We see everyone dying. I'm not going to die. Why me? I come back home and I start my work again tomorrow, 9 to 9. So we are actually, in that sense, more degraded than Asuras of Treta Yuga and Satyuga and Dwapar Yuga, because those Asuras were working hard. I have to, before my life finishes, I have to do something about it. But we are completely just watching India versus someone match. Koi problem nahi hai. Kal karenge. We'll do it tomorrow. So look at our mentality and complacency and negligence. We are practically lost here. So this line which Prabhupada has written is so nice actually. It represents practically the whole world is like that. Have no information about our responsibility, the actual responsibility. Yes, Mata, sorry.
And the person who actually realizes his responsibility and works in achieving it, they are called suras, or they are the godly persons. And in the second paragraph, it talks about the atmana. Atmana is the killer of the soul again. So a person, and also here there is a comparison about how there's the material world is compared with the ocean, and our human body is compared to the boat, and the scriptures and all, they are compared to the boatmen. Well, whereas the facilities of the human body, which is provided by the laws of nature, that is considered as the favorable breeze that will help that boat to go into the right direction. But even after providing so many facilities for this human life, if people still don't work towards achieving that self-realization, here they are literally killing the spiritual awareness or the spiritual consciousness of the soul. So that's why they are called the atmana, the killer of the soul. So that is what is explained in this paragraph. And then in the third paragraph, it talks about to understand what is our own responsibility as a human being. So the main difference between us and the animals is one thing, that is the dharma. We understand what dharma is, but the animals, they don't. So and Prabhupada also said in one lecture that if we don't understand dharma, we are as good as the two-legged animal who just eat, sleep, mate, and then defend. There's no difference between us and the animal. But even after because of this but in today's modern soul killing civilization, everybody is very eager to satisfy their own hunger in satisfying their lust, greed, and all those things, but they don't want to actually know what is self-realization. Why are we given this human body? But an intelligent person will try to understand what is the purpose of life. Why did we come? Why were we given this human form? So then he will utilize that to he will take interest in knowing about the self-realization process. I think that is about the third paragraph. And then in the fourth paragraph, it talks about what are the consequences of misuse of the human form of life. So if we don't use our the human form, actually a person, an intelligent person will understand that we get this human form of life after millions of lifetime. So, and who will if you understand properly, then you will not misuse it, and you will utilize that life in the self-realization process. But whoever doesn't understand that, in today's life, nobody is interested in knowing that, and they so eventually what happens is you will either go to the Asuriya planets, and you will take birth in the lower species of life, and you will keep working hard all throughout your life. That is the paragraph 4. And in the paragraph 5, it talks about so what is the fate of the people who will fail to recognize the Lord's proprietorship, and also they act whimsically by disregarding the laws of nature. So in as it says in the purport in Bhagavad Gita 6.41 to 43, it tells how a person who has taken even a little bit of Krishna consciousness in this lifetime, then and if they're not able to complete that process in this lifetime, they will take birth into a Brahman family or a Vaishya family, in a mercantile family. So if you even if you think in that way, that if you're doing a little bit of Krishna consciousness, you are still Krishna is so merciful. He's giving you a birth in a very good family where you can still continue your process. So so what if so we cannot even imagine what will happen. Like, it is very hard. So the person who has actually realized, then he will go back to Krishna. And the other thing is but in today's world, people don't even make an attempt to find out who they are, and also they are too materialistic, and they just want to engage in the material, in the sense gratification. So such people, they will surely go into the darkest planets, or the planets which are covered by darkness and ignorance, and then they'll not even understand. They'll have no knowledge about the Lord's proprietorship, and they are devoid of the self-realization. So the basic conclusion is we are given this human form to for the self-realization, but not to use this this material life, use this to satisfy our material desires or to engage in the sense gratification.
Rather live in accordance with the Ishavasya principles.
Live in accordance with.
And then we can go to verse 2, and then you can live here, do all your responsibilities. It will not bind you. Thank you, Mataji. Any questions from anyone? Okay, no questions. So I hope it's all okay. So now we are moving to the next section today. So next section is mantra 4 to 8 as per the MIHE guide, the vision of the Mahabhagavat. So I'll not read the whole thing here. So basically, mantra 4 to 8 will explain different inconceivable potencies of the Lord, which will be basically mantra 4 and 5. And then 6, 7, and 8 will cover the vision of the Mahabhagavat. So how to understand the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. So we'll read the verses and we'll see. So I'll just open this, actually don't need 2 pages. Okay. So we'll just read this verse, mantra 4, very nice, mantra 4 and 5. I'm not sure they are in the list, but yeah, very, very nice verses. Gives very nice information about the supreme absolute truth. Anyone would like to read the verse? This is little longer tune. Anejadekam manaso javiyo. So that's the tune. Anyone can read. Vijaya Mataji.
अनेजदेकं मनसो जवियो
Anejadekam manaso javiyo.
नैनादेवमप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षात्
Naina deva apnuvan purvamarshad.
तद्धावतो ज्ञानत्येति तिष्ठत्
Tadhavato jnanatyeti tishthat.
तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वधातति
Tasmin apomatarishva dadhati.
Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all other running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him, although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence.
Thank you, Mataji. So before we go to the purport, just quickly read some words here. So anejat, and you can take help of synonyms here. Anejat refers to fixed at ekam, at one place. So although he is fixed at one place, manaso javiyo means Prabhupada writes more swifter, like more faster, more rapid. So although he is fixed at one place, but actually he goes more than the mind, more than the speed of the mind. So that's one contradiction. Naina deva apnuvan purvamarshas. Naina deva. So deva is devada, demigods. Naina, none of the demigods. Apnuvan purvam. So apnuvan refers to can approach. So no devas can approach him. Anyone can give an example from Srimad Bhagavatam to prove this line? Everyone knows that one. So no devas can approach him. Now, obviously, him, which is a pronoun here, is not mentioned clearly. And the reason is they are the Upanishad, they speak that language. So, but they're putting a contradictory feature here. So he's fixed at one place, but he runs faster than the mind. No demigods can approach him. So no demigods can approach him. Anyone? Example?
Indradev could not approach the Lord. So he went to...
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma couldn't approach. And he went to Mother Surbhi and asked for the forgiveness from the Lord.
That was because he was ashamed, not like not go.
So the Purusha Sukta prayers when all the demigods go to pray to the Lord and they couldn't even see him or communicate like they communicated through Brahma. Mind.
And even Brahma could hear the message of Lord in the mind. He could not see. So all the demigods, a famous picture as well, 10.1 is also there. Prithvi Devi goes to demigods and demigods goes to Brahmaji. Brahmaji takes all the demigods, goes to next to Shir Sagar, and he just sits and prays there. He just sits and prays there. He cannot see. And Brahma Samhita, which we read, actually it's a mental visit of Brahmaji. So no demigods can approach Krishna. Obviously, Krishna word is not mentioned here, but we understand. Tad dhavato. Dhavat mane to run. Tad dhavato. He runs anyan atyetitisya. When he runs, no one can sort of defeat him in the race. He runs the fastest. That is Krishna. Tasmin apo. Apo refers to, anyone remembers a verse in Bhagavad Gita which has used the word apo? Now you will know. Manmohan Prabhu is just pressing the unmute button.
15.15.
Huh?
15.15.
15.15 apohanam. No. This is apa. Bhumir apohanalo vayukam mano buddhirevcha. Verse number Charumata. Sorry.
7.4.
7.4. Thank you. 7.4. Something like that. So Bhumir apo. So apo refers to water. Bhumi refers to earth. So apo refers to water. Matrishwa. Matrishwa refers to wind and rain. That's what Prabhupada writes here. The gods who control wind and rain. So who is the controller of rain? Now we know this. Indradev, for example, right? Wind, there's a Vayu Devata and there's a Varun Devata. So Dadati supplies. So no demigods can approach them. No one can run faster to him, and he surpasses all in excellence. And he controls those who supply the air and rain. So this is Krishna. So let's read the purport. But you understand there are 4 qualities, inconceivable qualities of Lord is given there. So first line is there where he is fixed at one place, but he goes swifter than the mind. Anyone can give an example for this line from Srimad Bhagavatam? Gajendra. So although Narayan was sitting in Vaikuntha, but when Gajendra prayed, few verses, he ran faster than Garuda even. It says when he was trying to come from Vaikuntha and Garuda came and Krishna was riding on Garuda, Narayan was riding on Garuda, and he said to Garuda, "You're too slow. My devotee is in trouble. I have to go fast." And he left Garuda and he went faster than Garuda. And some acharyas explain in humor, when Narayan was coming back with Gajendra, then Garuda arrived. So he has done the whole Leela and then Garuda is arriving. Although it said Garuda also goes faster than the mind. So it's just the analogy given how much Krishna loves his devotees. When devotee is in trouble and is calling from the heart, Draupadi calling from the heart, Krishna sitting in Dwarka, he came immediately. So let's read the purport. Very beautiful purport. Para 1, who would like to read? Rupam Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Just the highlighted part or the entire?
Yes, Prabhu. So just the para 1 which I have written and just the highlighted, Prabhu.
Okay. So para 1, the Lord is beyond material calculations and mental speculation, can be known only by devotional service by his devotees.
Just I will stop here. So it's a heading here. The Lord is beyond material calculation. And why is saying that? If you read the first line, Anej adekam manaso jabiyo. If we say one person is in the prison, for example, somewhere in the prison, he has got kala pani, something like that. Then you can't say he's also moving faster than the mind. It's very inconceivable sort of thing. We can't. And he's saying tadhavato, and he runs the fastest, although he's fixed at one place. So it is very inconceivable. But we are saying the Lord is beyond material calculation and speculation. So we cannot speculate. Speculation means where calculations don't work. So we are saying no material calculation, no mental speculation. Can be only known by devotional service by his devotees. Any verse from Bhagavad Gita which proves that? Can be known only by devotees. Everyone said that verse in the exam 2-3 weeks ago. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only devotees can know me as I am. Okay, Rupa Prabhuji.
Yeah. If a non-devotee philosopher travels through space at a speed of wind or the mind for hundreds of millions of years, he will still find that the absolute truth is far, far away from him.
Anyone can give an example for this line which Prabhupada is writing here? What does it mean? Prabhupada is writing clearly at the speed of mind, or you travel for millions of years, you'll not be able to find the absolute truth far, far away. I'll give you a simple example. Moon landing. It's a big topic in itself. I'll not talk the whole thing here. Last year, considering it was true, India landed the spacecraft in the south pole of the moon. Consider it's all true. But they say moon is just filled with rocks and dust. The answer given by our teachers, contemporary teachers, first, they may not have landed on the moon. Even if they have landed on the moon exists in multiple dimensions. And you are able to see only one dimension. Suppose you give your children your own laptop, but you create a different user. That user has very limited access to your laptop. And this user may not be able to access so many files which you have. So when you open the laptop with that user and ID, admin ID, you can see everything, but the child cannot. But child will say, no, there's nothing in this computer, nothing in the computer. And I can prove it, I can prove it. Yes, so moon exists, or these are our higher planetary system exists in different dimension. And we are only able to access at this point in time very limited dimension. And similarly, Vaikuntha planets also, when we describe, there are 8 layers of this universe. There's a Devi Dham, there's a Virja river, Brahmajyoti, Sadashiv Loka, Vaikuntha Loka, Saket Dham. So this is all for our mundane representation. But this is not exactly like that. It's not like a 2D dimension. You're going higher and higher to Prithvi Loka, go up and Brahmaloka will come. No, Brahmaloka exists in a different dimensions. Our normal, mundane, imperfect human eye cannot perceive all these things with the help of instruments. Ravan also wanted to make a staircase from Prithvi Loka to Sarvloka. He couldn't make it. Because it's not up there. I am living on, level 2 and there's a level 4. If the lift doesn't work, I'll take a staircase. I'll take a helicopter, whatever. It doesn't work that way. So what we have to understand, they exist in different dimension, and that's how they can be approached or not approached very soon or never. Very soon means a person, a devotee leaves a body, he immediately is transferred to Vaikuntha Loka or Goloka Vrindavan. Immediately. There is no waiting period anywhere. You have to go to the airport, get into the queue. Today, there's a lot of people are going to Vaikuntha Loka. Nothing like immediately he's transferred. Or a scientist, philosopher can make a spacecraft which can run with the speed of mind. They can still not ever approach it because it exists in a different dimension. And science is also talking about this time dimension, space travel, time travel, where they're trying to go back or forward in the time, and they're talking about it. So it's a different dimension you're talking. So anyone raises these sort of questions can be easily answered on this point, because this is not something mythology anymore. Even to the eye of science, it's very proven. It's a different dimension. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, bro. Should I read the entire paragraph?
Prabhu, this 537, where Prabhupada writing, Krishna lives in Golok Vrindavan, where he remains and engages in his pastime. So this is what Prabhupada is writing for Anejad Ekam. He stays at one place, which we know. And I have given this verse, 537. Again, Prabhupada has written. I've just put the verse on the screen for everyone's benefit. Golok ev nivasati akhilatma bhuto. So we know Krishna lives in Golok Vrindavan. But at the same time, he is present in every single atom and the space in between atoms as well. So he is at one place, at the same time, he is everywhere. But at the same time, he is not directly involved in the Prakriti. Maya Dekshan Prakriti Suete Sa Characharan. So Prakriti runs under his laws. He is not directly involved. So he expands himself in different Purusha avatars. We know that Mahavishnu, Karanodakshai Vishnu, or Garbhodakshai Vishnu, then Shirodakshai Vishnu. And through different Vishnus, through different energies, he controls the whole world. So he is at one place, is still available everywhere, anytime. He listens to Gajendra's prayer. He listens to Draupadi's prayer. Para 2, anyone else can read?
Well, I can read.
Sure.
Different energies of the Lord. Although his energies are innumerable, they can be divided into 3 principal categories: the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency.
Anyone knows the Sanskrit name for these 3? Very simple. Antaranga.
Yes.
No, please go ahead.
Tatastha.
Tatastha and
Bahiranga. So Antaranga, Bahiranga, Tatastha. Anyone can give an example for each?
Tatastha we jivas.
Thank you.
And Antarangas are the spiritual.
Yes,
like
spiritual world and all the devotees there. Nitya
Yeah.
Siddhas, yeah.
Mhm.
And Bahiranga is the Prakriti.
Prakriti,
The
yeah.
Prakriti where we are sitting right now, Bahiranga Shakti, Maya Shakti. Okay. And Prabhupada also, there are hundreds and millions of subheadings to each of these categories. So you can say in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, in Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, they have a 16 category. Huh? So again, it's not we are right or they are right. It's not like that. They have different headings like that because Krishna has unlimited energies. Rupa Goswami writes 64 qualities of Krishna. And initially he writes that Krishna has unlimited qualities. But he's speaking 64 main qualities of Krishna. It doesn't mean he's limited to 64 qualities. So similarly, Krishna has unlimited energies. But in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we consider 3 main, and there are subheadings into it. Okay, and the famous verse 554, Shashti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhan Shakti Rekha Chayev Yas Bhuvnan Vibharti Durga Ichhanurupam Apiyasya Chacheshta Sa Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Okay, para 3. Someone else?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Mata, please.
Okay, paragraph 3, God and his energies are non-different yet different. Although the Lord and his energies are non-different, one should not mistake these energies for the supreme truth. Nor should one wrongly consider that the Supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally.
Can anyone give an example from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam for this line to understand? We know this, we already read Bhagavad Gita, but example, reference. So although Lord energies are non-different, what's the example? We have read many examples. Sun and sun rays, we can say that they're not different. Rupa said that. So the light coming from sun is the energy of the sun. Heat and light is the energy of fire. If the fire is present, it will emanate heat and light. Heat can be experienced up to an extent. Suppose there's a small fire, maybe a meter or two, I will experience the heat. But after that, I will not experience the heat, but I will experience another energy called light. I can see the fire, for example. I can go 10 meters behind in my room and I can still see the fire. So Krishna's energy and Krishna in one sense are non-different. But does it mean we only worship the energy, not the energetic? No. Energetic is still the energetic. It's the source of that energy. So Durga Devi, you can say, is the energy of Krishna. Parvati ji, Durga ji is the energy of Krishna. But energetic is behind, which is Krishna. So the Lord, now, does it mean, nor should one wrongly consider that Supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally, because he's and himself and his energies are non-different, so he's distributed impersonally everywhere. Can anyone give an example for this from Bhagavad Gita? Which verse? Or actually, there's one more example we read in Isopanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam. There many complete come from Krishna. Krishna still remains the complete truth. So it's not like that. If I have $100 in my pocket and I distribute all the $100, how much I have left in my pocket? Zero. In a spiritual world, as we discussed, doesn't work that way. So all the things come out of the body of Mahavishnu. For example, Mahavishnu is still the same. So he does not get his squeeze when all the universes come out. And when universes come in, he becomes a very fat person, a very big person. His weight has increased now. We eat a lot of rasgulla, gulab jamun, samosas, our weight increases. Mahavishnu eats all the universes. His weight does not increase even by 1 gram. Mahavishnu is still same. And he releases all the universes, his weight is exactly same. That is Krishna. That is Krishna. So he's not distributed everywhere impersonally. Example, anyone? So 719 we can say Yogina, Vasdeva Sarmiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. What's the starting of that verse? Bahunam Janamnamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasdeva Sarmiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So that's the verse for Jnanis who become devotees later on. For example, for Kumaras, Shukdev Goswami. So they were the worshipper of impersonal absolute truth earlier, and then they became devotees. So initially they thought this Advaitam Achyutam, there's only one absolute truth which is distributed impersonally everywhere, like Brahman is everything. So they were Brahmavadis. But then they realized actually behind this Brahman, Krishna also has a personality. So Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlavaha. So Prabhupada is writing is not just distributed impersonally everywhere. Now he writes about the personal feature of the Lord. Manmohan Prabhu, would you like to read? Maybe he's busy. Yes, Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu. So, part 4, the Lord is beyond approach even by powerful demigods. Isopanishad very clearly suggests that the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. Otherwise, there would have been no need to mention so many details in support of his personal features.
Yeah. So this verse actually proves the personality of Krishna or that absolute truth. Why? Because he's saying in the verse itself, he is fixed at one place, but he goes faster. That means we are referring to that one person, isn't it? No devatas can approach him. He controls the devatas of rain and wind. Now, if he is not that one person, for comparison, there has to be two people, right? You cannot compare with one person. Now, Arjun got moha and then he's speaking with Krishna. So Arjun and Krishna has to be two persons. Huh? One is seeking the guidance, one is giving the guidance. So there has to be two persons. So this verse, Prabhupada writes, talking about the personal feature of the Lord. I put one reference here. Which Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Name vidhu surgana prabhuvam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. So no one knows me. Even Krishna is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, para 5 and 6. Anyone else?
I'll do it, Prabhu. The Lord cannot be known by mental speculation. He can be known only when he reveals himself. The part and parcels are never equal to the whole.
So we understand that one. We are qualitatively one with Krishna, like quality wise, as Vijay Mataji was saying in the beginning of the discussion, we are all Satchitananda. Krishna is also Satchitananda. But we are not the whole. A drop of the ocean is never equal to the ocean, but drop will have the same amount of salt, hydrogen, chlorine, whatever is there in that ocean. You know, there are different oceans, and if you get a sample of that ocean, you can learn the whole ocean. You don't have to take the whole ocean to the laboratory to realize. Suppose you go to a doctor, I'm seeing Manmohan Prabhu, and he says, Prabhu, go and do blood test. You're eating too many sweet these days. Do they need to take the whole blood out and do the test? They take, a few drops of blood, whatever, 10 ml or something. And they do the test and they say, you have this particular problem, just by looking at the sample. So sample is exactly same in that sense as the whole, but whole is still whole, sample is still the sample. So part and parcels are never equal to the whole, although we are part and parcel. Anyone remembers what's the meaning of part and parcel? We discussed it a few weeks ago. Why Prabhupada not saying parts? He's saying part and parcel.
Because we are eternal fragments.
Eternal fragments, and we can never be separated. We cannot say today we are party number 1, tomorrow party number 2, because party 2 gave me X amount of money. We change our party, we change our nationality. We got Australian passport or American passport, Indian passport. We can't change that passport. We are also Krishna's. That is our real passport, and we can't change it. This temporary passport we can change, and that passport also has expiry, isn't it? It's funny, if you look at our normal passport, that also has expiry date. So everything expires in this material world, but we still think I am Aussie, I am British, I am American. What sort of American or Aussie or Indian you are, because it's going to expire maximum with the end of your body. Okay, next line.
Sri Isopanishad warns of the futility of trying to establish the identity of the Lord through mental speculation.
So can we mentally speculate and say how Krishna is? Can we do some speculation? A simple example I'll give you. If some boys are playing cricket in India, for example, and on the street, and when I went out, they were playing on the street. When I come back, I saw my window broken. So can I infer these boys who are playing the cricket had thrown the ball inside my compound and my window is broken? And This gets confirmed when I go inside and I see a ball, a cock ball in my balcony or something. So what do I infer from this instance? These boys who were playing on the street have broken my window while they were playing the ball. I was playing ball once when I was young and I broke a tube light or a big bulb right when the owner was also present there. I was happy the ball is going very fast, but ball ended up in that. So the owner wasn't happy, obviously. So that instance we can speculate. This is also called a speculation, right? Based on certain evidences, we speculate. But can you speculate about God? You can't. People try, but you can't because you have no experience how he looks like, where does he live, what does he do. You have no experience unless it gets revealed. And that's why we read two words in the introduction of Isopanishad, Aroha and Avroha. Aroha means ascending knowledge. Avroha means descending knowledge. So many times students right now, all the young kids, for example, they're learning maths. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, and blah, blah, blah. And later on, they will start doing algebra, calculus, trigonometry, and so many other mathematics based on those facts, right? This is called ascending knowledge. But what is the descending knowledge? Where you have no approach, no experience, it has to be given to you. Otherwise, you can't. Suppose you are dying in a river, in a flood somewhere. A helicopter comes and rescues you. Can you capture helicopter by ascending process? No, it has to descend and capture you and take you out. So similarly, the knowledge, Shabda Praman, has to be given to you, and then you have to accept it as it is, and then you can understand it. You can't speculate about it. If you do speculation, it will be useless, waste of time. And I got this verse I thought is very relevant. 9:12, Mogasha Moga Karmano, Moga Gyan Vichetsa. So Krishna is using Moga word 3 times. Moga means baffled. Baffled in their hopes, baffled in their karma, baffled in their jnana. And who they are? Modern people. They are trying. I will replace God one day. I will win over death one day. So Mogasha, Mogasha, Mogasha. Moga Jnana, Moga Karmana, Moga Asha. Asha means hope. We all have hope. There is no God. I can confirm that. Or even if there's a God, I will overcome the God. So karma, your all the activities, all the scientific advancements in that direction will be baffled. You will not get anything. Your jnana, whatever jnana you have or you're proud of that knowledge will be baffled. All your ashas, all your hopes, one day I will win over death, will be baffled. Mogha, mogha, mogha. Because this way will not work to understand God. Okay, some more lines here.
When the part and parcel living entity forgets his particular activities under the Lord's will, he is considered to be in Maya, illusion.
Yeah, so we understand that one. Maya means which is not. Ma, yeah, this, ma, nahi, which is not there and which we identify with. Sometimes we say, at least theoretically we say, Krishna is the owner of everything. Theoretically we say, right? Krishna is the owner of everything. We know that. Except our house, our position, our knowledge, our family, our laptop, our mobile. Because I am the one who controls this house. I am the one who runs the whole temple. I am the one. I am the center of attraction. So theoretically we may say like that, but what we feel, I think is what His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was saying, if I'm not wrong, we feel Krishna should do justice to everyone, but mercy to me. Justice to everyone, but mercy to me. Justice means they have done bad activities. They should get bad results. They are such a bad people. But mercy to me, please, Krishna, I'm just your kid. Please forgive me. Mercy. I should not be accountable for my bad activities. Everyone else who has done bad to me must get punishment. So that's why. So there's a lot of difference between what we say and what we feel. So Krishna is the owner. Yes. In the exam, we write like that. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Bhoktaram Yaktab, some Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He's the one. But when we come home, we think I'm the controller of the house. Everyone should listen to me because I'm important. But no, we are not. Krishna is the controller here. And when we understand, realize that knowledge in our life, actually we start getting detached. We start getting actual knowledge. Krishna is the owner. We are not the owner. We are not the controller. Some people may listen, some may not listen. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Then we are rightly situated. Okay, this is what I think. This is what I propose. Then it's up to Krishna what happens, because we get attached to the results, and that is called Maya. I have to get this right because I think like that. No, Krishna is the supreme person. He's the controller, and many things in our life will be going as per his desire, not as per our desire. So the biggest Maya we have. When part and parcel forgets his particular activities under Lord's will. So we are the servant, he's the owner. If the owner wants a different thing in his shop or in his company, owner has full right to do that, no matter how attached we are to our activities, to our results, to our hopes. Okay, last line.
When a person properly utilizes his initiative or active nature with intelligence, understanding that everything is the Lord's potency, he can revive his original consciousness,
Which was lost due to association with Maya or external energy. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, last paragraph. This is very nice. If you understand it properly, we will be very happy, actually. Very happy. Anyone who hasn't read as yet.
Who can I do?
Okay, 3 people are ready. Anyone? Okay, I think everyone gone on mute now. Divya Mataji, maybe you can read.
I can read, yes. Kaveri wants to read. No?
Sure.
You
We
want to?
love children to read.
That's okay. She's gone now.
No
All
problem.
powers must be utilized for execution of the will of the Lord. To save oneself from material disaster, one must have perfect knowledge of the Lord, his features, his potencies, and how these potencies work. All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise.
Yep. So if we understand this principle which you're discussing earlier, we will be very happy. And what happens? The incompatibility only happens when we try to use those powers given by the Lord for our sense gratification. And then there's an incompatibility. And many times we don't get the desired result. And when we use those powers for the Lord, everything runs beautifully. Okay, any questions on this particular verse before we go to the next one? There's a nice chart here. Again, I will post this after the class. So position of Krishna, who can't know Krishna, why can't one know him, and who can know him. So Bhakti Abhijana. This is a very beautiful representation. Whoever has done it, I don't know the devotee's name to be honest, but very beautifully he has put whole purport, like 1 or 2 pictures. Let's see what he has done. Okay, considering there is no questions, we'll move to the next verse. This is also a beautiful verse. Again, I think it's a key verse. Prabhu can confirm or oppose. Okay, mantra 5. Anyone wants to read this verse?
Prabhu, can I do it?
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mantra 5. Tade jati tanne jati.
Tade jati tanne jati.
Tad dure tadva antike.
Tad dure tadva antike.
Tad antarasya sarvasya.
Tad antar asya sarvasya.
Tadu sarvasasya bahyatah.
Tadu sarvasya asya bahyatah.
Translation: the Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So now mantra in 4 and 5, as I said, that the theme is the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. There's a slight difference though. In mantra 4, it's established Lord is inconceivable by what? Like Devtas cannot approach him, he controls everyone. And now the actual inconceivability, the characteristics of that inconceivability is given in mantra 5. So in that terms, there's a slight difference between mantra 4 and 5. Again, 4 qualities are actually 3 qualities are given in this verse. Tad e jati, tanne jati. So jati means jana, to go. So tad e jati, he goes but he doesn't go. So Prabhupada writes, he walks but he does not walk. So that's very contradictory. Tad dure tadva antike. Dure means dur, he is far. Antike means near, close. He's very far but he is very close. Tad antar asya sarvasya. He is inside everything. Tadu sarvasya asya bhayata, but he's outside of everything as well. Huh? So 3 inconceivable potency of the Lord is given. So he walks, he does not walk, he's far, but he's near, and he's outside, yet he is inside of everything as well. Anyone remembers any instance from Srimad Bhagavatam of this instance? He's outside and inside. And from Brahma Samhita, there's so many instances actually.
Namaste.
Kunti Maharani prayers.
Kunti Maharani
Namaste
Laksham
Purushartham.
Swadhyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Laksham Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahir Avasthitam.
Avasthita. Thank you. So very nice reference. This is 1:8:19. Any other pastime? That's a definitely correct answer. A pastime. Sorry, someone saying Prasanatma Prabhu, yes? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Parikshit Maharaj, like, Lord is outside, and when Uttara calls, he enters inside.
Hari Bol, that's very nice.
Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, I can. So, yes, Lord was situated outside on the chariot, as well as he went inside the womb of Uttara and protected Parikshit. Thank you, Prabhuji. Another example.
Prahlad Maharaj.
How?
He says that the Lord is everywhere. He is
Prabhu
there
giving
in the
verses
living
and
and the
verses. Huh? Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so Prahlad Maharaj also says that. Pastime. I meant to ask pastime, because pastime sometimes stays in our memory more than these verses. Yashoda Maya was looking in the mouth of Krishna, you remember? Brahmanda Roop. So when Yashoda looked in the mouth of Krishna, she could see the whole Brahmanda, as well as she saw Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, she saw Yashoda and she saw Krishna as well. So Yashoda is looking inside the mouth of Krishna. Yashoda and Krishna is there as well. And same Yashoda inside the mouth of Krishna is again doing the same thing. And there's unlimited layers. Have you been to a haircut salon in India? You know, where you see mirrors both sides and you see image, unlimited image on each side. I used to love it. I'll just sit and look here, look there. Huh? It's a lot of fun for kids. Huh? So similarly, Yashoda. Huh?
Yeah, yes. I was thinking, bro, the Virat Roop.
Virat Roop, thank you.
Yeah, where Arjun was able to see, that himself and others.
Yes. Yep. Although he's outside, but he could see.
Although
So that's an example of Jiva as well. Huh? So it's not only Krishna, Jiva, Arjun could see, and Arjun in there. Shripalat Prabhu was giving class just on that instance, I remembered. He said, if we were able to see Vishwarupa, we will be able to see ourselves, because Arjun could see past, present, and future. He said, because of future, we are in the future, we'll see a Rupam Prabhu in the Virat Rupa as well. This is how it is. It's inconceivable to our tiny brain at this stage, but this is what the philosophy is. Arjun could see past, present, and future. So, beautiful line here. And why I'm saying these examples are important, because these examples solidifies these lines very nicely. Tade jati, tanne jati. Anyone can give an example? He walked, but he... Sorry?
Sakshi Gopal.
Sakshi Gopal. Thank you, Mataji. Sakshi Gopal. This young Brahman went and said, if you can talk, you can walk. Because Krishna said, I will come to give Sakshi, I will come to give witness. So the Brahman boy, very intelligent. And Niti said, but how can I walk? And he said, you can talk, you can walk. Chalo, come with me to Vrindavan. Huh? So Sakshi Gopal, very nice. Any other examples anyone can remember? He walks, but he does not walk. Jagannath. Jagannath is standing on the altar, extending his hand to grab the coconuts. What was the name of the devotee? I can't remember the name. I'm sure everyone will know. Jagannath extending his hand is a famous coconut pastime, and he grabs all the coconut and the mangoes, and he eats, and you can see the mangoes peel as well. Anyway, we understand that devotee, famous devotee. Tad dure, tad antike. Anyone can give an example for this? I think we already discussed about it. He is very, very far, but he is very, very near.
Again, Draupadi.
Gajendra, yes, we discussed about that. He's
Gajendra and Draupadi as well.
Draupadi as well. We discussed. Akhand Rasa Prabhu, you're going to say some other example?
He's present as Paramatma, which is in our heart.
Thank you.
as well as he's present in far away in his own spiritual world.
What do you call this? This is called Purushavataras. So you can say in the form of Purushavataras. We also discussed in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, around 30th verse. Yo mam pashati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha mena pranashyati. So Krishna at multiple levels doing different jobs. All the same Vishnu at the same time is 3 types of Vishnus. So we have Mahavishnu, and we have Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and we have Shirodakashayi Vishnu or Paramatma. So as a Paramatma, Shirodakashayi Vishnu, he is inside. But as a Karunodakashayi Vishnu, he's outside. So both his statements are exactly true for a special purpose. Okay, let's read quickly the purport of Prabhupada. Para 1. Who hasn't read today?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I try?
Yes, please.
Transcendental activities and inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Lord. Here is a description of some of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities executed by his inconceivable potencies. The contradictions given here prove the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. He walks and he does not walk. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power.
Maybe you can stop there, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So, as we understand, in this material world, we have 2 words, logic or illogic. Something has to make sense, otherwise it's illogical, right? So, suppose a humans, at least in our knowledge at this stage, cannot fly. So if you say some humans are flying, you'll feel like, oh, pagal bana rahe. He's just faking. It's not possible. So whenever we see some sort of contradiction which doesn't fit in our logic, we feel like this news cannot be true. But imagine for God, we cannot say that. Now someone may say this all illogical, so it's all fake. So either God doesn't exist or this verse, what is telling is not true, for example, right? So it has to fit in a logical term. But think about it. If Krishna can be understood through our little tiny logic, then it said logic should be God, not Krishna, because logic is above that God, because you're able to understand, right? And how much is our logical power? I remember when we were preparing for this NBA exams, and we had this logical and thinking and reasoning exam. We hated that. Maths, no problem. Science, no problem. Logic and reasoning, so many diagrams going here and there. So how much logic we have, and we're trying to improve that logic. It doesn't fit in that. So Jiva Goswami, in his Shat Sandarbhas, introduced another term. He says, Krishna is not logical and he's definitely not illogical. He is translogic. Translogic means beyond the realm of our logic. And that makes sense. Otherwise, logic should be God, not God should be God. Because God is beyond our comprehension, that's a feature of Lord. Someone says, how can a Krishna, a small boy, 7-year-old, can lift the Govardhan hill on his pinky finger? Oh, that's all mythology. But that's not mythology. Krishna is the source of the gravitational force, and as per his desire, he can change that, right? So we don't have power to adjust the gravity, but Krishna has, because he's the source of it. So if he wants, he can change it. And now that doesn't fit in our logic, but that's fine. It has to be like that. If it fits in our logic, we should be sitting on top of God. And that's not possible. So inconceivable potencies of Krishna does not make him illogical. Rather, that proves him that he is God. Does this make sense? Because he is not one of us. If it fits in our logic, yeah, it's one of us. Yeah, that Prabhuji, Mataji is doing fantastic, but it still fits in our logic. But Krishna is beyond all this. So Jiva Goswami says he is translogic. He is beyond logic. And that makes sense. Last line, Mahasu Prabhu.
He is both personal and impersonal. The Bhagavatas know that without inconceivable potencies, there can be no meaning to the words Supreme Lord.
So he's personal and impersonal. So I put a reference here, 1 to 11. Brahmeti Bhagwan, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdayat. So that verse 1 to 11 fits very well. So he is impersonal. We are not saying he's not, but he's also personal. It's a different level of understanding. Okay, para 2, someone else. Hare Krishna, please, Prabhu.
Para 2. A theistic view of the presence and appearance of the Supreme Lord, near but far. We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eyes, the Lord has no personal existence. Sri Isopanishad refutes this argument by declaring that the Lord is far away, but very near also.
Yeah, so tad dure tad antike. He is dur, but he is near as well. Now, I want to discuss here what we see that doesn't exist, what exists but we can't see. Anyone can give an example in the material world, obviously. What we see but that doesn't exist. A famous example which we
The
keep
mirage.
Mirage. Anything else? Mirage
Wind.
doesn't exist.
Mistaking
Wind.
a snake
Oh,
for
that
a
is the
cloak.
second one. That's the second one. The first one, what we see, but that doesn't exist. What we see with our eyes. So one example is mirage. We see, but it's not. There's no existence of water there. Two railway tracks, if we see, yeah, you keep seeing them, and after a while, they seems to have merged together. So you see only one railway track. Is it true? No, there are two railway tracks actually, huh? If you stand on a mountain or something, you'll feel like, oh, there's only one railway track. No, it's not. So, but if you see close, you see actually, it's two, not one, huh? So many things which we see that does not exist. Another one is what exists but we can't see. Mataji gave example of wind. Another example, wind exists but we can't see. So we can't deny the existence of wind. We won't be sitting here. Another example, anyone else?
Sorry, Prabhuji, for the one that you mentioned earlier, the one that we can see but doesn't exist. What about the pencil? And then it seems like it's going to bend, but it's not.
Yes,
bending.
if you put a brush or pencil into the water, you see it twisted, but it's not. Thank you, Mata. That's another nice example. We should accumulate these things because these atheistic people, they don't have many questions actually. They are just simple. God ko dikha do.
Even for the first one, Prabhu, the sky and the ocean.
Okay, so can you explain that, Prabhu?
They seem to meet, but they don't meet up.
If you see the sky and the ocean, they seem to meet, Prabhu. Both are
Oh, yes,
blue, no?
yes,
They
thank
merge.
you. Thank you, thank you. Nice example. So now we got 4 examples. Thank you. Is someone writing? We should write and share. Huh?
The sunset, bro.
Sunset, yes, expand.
Sunset. It appears like sun is merging
Sun is
inside
setting.
the ocean.
Okay, perfect. Sun is setting into the
Awesome.
ocean. Sun is drowning into the ocean. Please go and save.
Drowning.
Actually, another example comes to my mind. Sun looks like a $1 coin, isn't it? It's just $1 coin. I can just capture it. Hare Krishna. Sun is much, 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 much bigger. Earth, I don't know. There's a comparison there. I can't remember exactly. I think 16 lakh Earth can be merged together to make one sun. Something like that. There's a big number. 16 lakh. Similar size of planets can come together to make one sun. It's so big, but it seems like there's a $1 coin. Thank you. There's so many examples coming up. Second one, what exists but we can't see? Wind is one. Another one?
Sun's rays.
Ultraviolet.
Sun's rays?
Ultraviolet, infrared.
We can't see the rays, can we?
Oh, yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, many things, many noises we cannot hear. Like bats have the capacity to see those, to hear those, but we don't have, humans don't have. Even dogs have some extra capacities. Pigeons have some capacities. Yes? Another example can be mind. Simple example, right? We all have mind. We can't deny it. We are sitting here. Can we see your mind? Prabhu, show me your mind. So is it Hugo Boss mind or Adidas mind? Which brand did you buy, Prabhuji? No brand. So all these things we can say mind, brain, wind, ultraviolet rays, intelligence, heart. People describe the heart as, I'm not talking biological heart, Chaitanya Prabhu says on Valentine's Day, you see so many hearts and the arrow piercing the heart. But if an arrow really pierces your heart, you'll not be there. But they love to, they sell so many things based on the heart. But what we are talking here, our emotional part, not a physical, biological heart. And that heart is very different than your biological heart. You can change your heart, but you as a person will remain the same.
The soul.
Soul, okay. Soul, you can't see it exists. So many examples can be given. With the soul, you can say, okay, devotees can see anyway. So, but we understand the logic here, okay? So, atheistic view of the presence and appearance of Supreme Lord will not work because there's so many mundane examples we can give without going to spirituality or religion. Okay, para 3. Someone else can read.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Sure.
Thank you. 3. Atheistic view of the
I'll
presence.
read, Prabhu.
Let Mataji continue. You can read the next one, Prabhu.
Yes.
Atheistic view of the presence and appearance of the Supreme Lord. He comes running from far to be near with us, but we neglect NFP. 9.11, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being.
So this was, if you remember, Avjanandi Mam Mudha Manushim Tanumashyatam. Huh? So Krishna says, one who considers me that I have taken shelter of this human body, he is Mudha. Huh? He is not very intelligent. But atheistic view, they think like that. Huh? So Prabhupada is sort of cutting that argument here. Para 4, inconceivable potential. This is a very beautiful paragraph. We'll read little more. Maybe Prasannatma Prabhuji can read.
Yes, Prabhu. Para 4, inconceivable potencies of the Lord. Because he is full of inconceivable potencies, God can accept our service through any sort of medium. And he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. Non-believers argue either that the Lord cannot incarnate himself at all, or that if he does, he descends in a form of material energy. These arguments are nullified if we accept the existence of the Lord's inconceivable potencies. Then we will understand that even if the Lord appears before us in form of material energy, it is quite possible for him to convert this energy into spiritual energy. Since the source of the energies is one and the same, the energies can be utilized according to the will of their source. For example, the Lord can appear in the form of Archa Vigraha, a deity supposedly made of earth, stone, or wood. Deity forms, although engraved from wood, stone, or other matter, are not idols as the iconoclast content.
It's a beautiful example Prabhupada is giving. So Lord can convert this energy into spiritual energy. So we're talking material energy. For example, wood, stone, or other metals. I found this verse. This is 11th canto, 27th chapter, 12th verse. Krishna is speaking with Uddhav, and he's saying, I can appear. Krishna is speaking, right? So it's completely authorized. Appear in 8 material elements. And Krishna gives a list: stone, wood, metal, earth, paint, sand, mind, or jewel. So Krishna can appear in any one of these elements. And if we make so initially there's a statue, and if we do a pran pratishtha, mantras chanted by proper authorized brahmanas with purity, Lord actually descend in that Archa Vigraha. We're talking about like Sakshi Gopal earlier. So Gopal looks like a deity, but for a person like that Brahman had so much faith in the deity, deity started speaking. Prabhupada said also somewhere, if you follow Krishna consciousness properly, this deity in the temple will speak to you. Prabhupada said that. Once Prabhupada was interviewed, how do you know what Krishna's desire is? So Prabhupada said, I just asked Krishna. And I think it was Tamal Krishna Maharaj or some other secretary of Prabhupada. And he said, he meant to say, he knows the Vedic literature, and he knows through the Vedic literature what Krishna desires. And Prabhupada said, no. On the face of reporter, no, I just asked Krishna. Prabhupada was like literally saying, and he said, you can also see Krishna face to face as you are seeing me. You can talk to him, you can see him. So Prabhupada once was in Manor, and he was giving class, and he said, before the starting of the class, he said, today Radha and Krishna are dancing very nicely. They are very happy. Prabhupada said that. Narayana Mataji was telling when she was in Calcutta, and she was serving the deities in the temple. So once Prabhupada visited Calcutta temple, and Prabhupada saw deities were very nicely dressed, and deities had a garland of lotuses. So he said, who has dressed the deities and who has put these nice garlands? So Mataji was just there, and she said, Prabhupada, I prepared. So Prabhupada said, today Krishna is very happy, and he proved it. He proved it. He said, you see, there is a bee buzzing around this flower garland. And he says, this represent Krishna is happily accepting your garland. And Narani Mataji was telling this instance while she was giving class in Sydney one day. And she said, I felt so good. I felt so good that my service is accepted by Krishna. She was telling from her heart that Prabhupada said, the bee coming to this lotus flower garland is very auspicious. Krishna has accepted your seva. So Prabhupada proved so many instances, so much coming to my mind. In Bombay temple, some devotee was telling, in Chapati, if I'm not wrong, I think Radha Gopinath deities are there as well. So a Muslim man, he's the tailor of Radha Gopinath there in Bombay. He's Muslim by birth, but he does this seva for 40, 50 years. He's been doing this seva. And he tells, now this Muslim is saying, the measurement of the Gopinath, which I used to make like 40 years ago, doesn't fit him anymore. So devotees are feeding him so much, so nicely. His measurements has changed. And now this guy has like nothing to hide, right? He said the dresses which I used to make for Gopinath earlier, he's a professional and he does a good job. So temple has chosen him to do all the dresses for Krishna. And he said those dresses don't fit him anymore. So he is saying this is not a deity. Huh? I think what is his name in Ram Mandir? Who made the deities? Arun someone? Arun, someone Arun, I forgot the full name. And he said, I did not carve this deity. This deity is different. Huh? So he did carve a statue, but after Pran Pratishtha, the deities had changed. Huh? So many instances actually, where Krishna is talking, Krishna is doing so many things. So it just can't be just a mental speculation of few people. Manmohan Prabhu, you wanted to add something?
So I just wanted to ask a question. It's a bit
Yes.
technical.
Okay.
Like Krishna, we can't see him because he's in a spiritual form. So he comes and accepts the material. Like, I mean, he's still spiritual, but he's taking the form from the material things.
Yes.
But when he comes as Leela Avatar, the different Leela Avatar, we can see him through our material senses, like eyes. Then how it becomes possible? Does he allow us to do that? But
Yes. So it says different incarnations have different purposes. So as Prabhuji mentioned about Leela Avatar specifically, yes. So he allows the jivas to be able to see him, but not understand him all the time. I'll give you one example, Prabhu. Take Krishna's example. Take Lord Ram's example, any example. When Krishna was present on this planet, say around 5,000 years ago, Pandavas could see him as Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Duryodhan was also related to Krishna. Could he see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? No. Although Krishna was his Samdhi, it's very closely, even as a family member, I'm talking, not just speak of God. Duryodhan saw him, he served him, he communicated with him, I don't know, hundreds of times. He could not understand Krishna at all. So, yes, many times Krishna comes in, or Lord Ram comes in, people will be able to see him, talk to him, feed him as well, but they will not be able to understand Krishna because their intention is not good. And Lord has full control for him to reveal himself or not reveal himself. Even in a deity form, as we're talking about Prabhupada, Prabhupada could see deity as good as Krishna, not as deity. Like many people come and say, and we as well, we see deity as a deity, a white stone deity or a black stone deity. Deity is looking good, but we think, and to be very honest, we think Krishna in the spiritual world is the best, deity is the second best or third best, something like that. We just don't have that vision. But what Prabhupada says, Uttam Adhikari sees Radha Gopinath as good as Krishna living in Goloka Vrindavan. There is no difference. There's no difference. We can't say that, to be honest. Theoretically, okay, we can say deities are not different, but we can't say that. So that's the difference. And then that deity or actual Krishna in Leela Avatar or Guna Avatar has that full right to reveal himself or not reveal himself. So the form of Krishna, whatever it may be in the material world, does not restrict him to be accessed or not accessed. You understand? It's from our side. And then he can appear as a book called Bhagavad Gita, for example, or Srimad Bhagavatam. And then people can worship Srimad Bhagavatam as good as Krishna. Or we can consider him as a book. People put his, I've gone to Harinams and distributing, some pamphlets with Jagannath photo in it. And people just trample over it, they walk over it, they tear it, they put in rubbish bin, so many things. So they do it. What to do? We consider it as worshipable. Someone gave me a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu small pamphlet many years ago. I still have it on my altar, maybe after 10 years. It's a small photo, but it has Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in it. So for me, it's as good as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyway, you get the point, Prabhu?
yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So is controlled by Krishna. So no matter we see a photo of Krishna or a deity of Krishna or actual Krishna, you may or may not ever understand that Krishna. You may still say he's a Mayavi, he's a magician. I can also do magic. After Virat Rupa in Hastinapur, Duryodhan said that actually. Oh, he's just a Mayavi, he's just a magical person. I can also show Virat Rupa. He said that. It's in Mahabharata. Not in the serial, in actual Mahabharata. So that's how his understanding was of Krishna, even after seeing the Virat Rupa. And Arjun sees the Virat Rupa, he's bowing down from forward, from backward, from hundreds of times, and he's saying, please Krishna, forgive me. So that's the difference. Non-devotees seeing the same Virat Rupa, devotees seeing the same Virat Rupa. Okay, Prasanna Prabhu?
No, Prabhu, I just wanted to add something. I was hearing to Gaur Govind Maharaj, actually. Yes. So his grandfather had a temple.
Okay.
So in that deity, he had some urgent work and he had to go somewhere. So he gave some bunch of bananas to the other priest to take care of it. So he asked him to feed the deity with bananas. So he went and he came after a few days. Then came back to the temple and then he saw the deity and then he called the other pujari. What have you done? He said, what did you do with the bananas? Then he said, did you feed all the bananas together? He said, yes, I gave it everything together. Can't you see his mucus is coming from his nose, from the Lord's deity, then he could see that mucus is coming. Then he called the Vaidya and other, and then they made the medicine and gave to the deities and it was cured.
Hari bol, Hari bol.
Yeah.
So deities get sick.
It was told by Gaur Govind Maharaj.
Yes, yes. There's so many instances actually of deities interacting. But again, they have full right to interact or not interact. Sometimes some religious people, they try to desecrate the temples, saying, oh, these temples are invalid. But at the same time, they consider their holy book to be very sacred. Their holy book is very supreme. But your temple is illegal. So I will, crash your temple. But then someone can burn that holy book, right? Someone can take the fire and burn it. So Chaitanya Prabhu was saying on this particular point very nicely. So the deity form, the Archa Vigraha form of Krishna is not there to show its omnipresence. It's not there for that process, that he is omnipotent. He can fight with the demons. No, it's not there for that purpose. It's there for a different purpose, that we can get good training before we go to Golok Vrindavan. Prabhupada said that here you're like apprentice traineeship. You're serving the deity of Radha Gopinath. And once you have very close relationship with Gopinath, when you feel Gopinath is actual Gopinath, when you're perfected in your service, then you can go to Golok Vrindavan and you do continue your services there. So a deity has a very specific purpose. Some people say deities cannot even fly a fly from their nose. What sort of deity is that? You see this deity of Krishna or Hanumanji, they have laddus all over their body and flies are coming, mouse is coming. But the deity has a different purpose. So we have to understand that when the purpose is clear, then the form is clear. But the same deity can change the purpose. Sakshi Gopal, for example. If the matter exists, the devotee is so Shraddhalu, he is so faithful, then the purpose will be changed at the same time. But when the deities come, they follow the material rules many times. As if you are the boss of the company, when you go to the boss, you will still have your ID card. You will still have access. You will still follow the rules of that company, generally speaking. India, I'm not sure they follow. Here they follow. Even the CEO of the company comes, he follows the same. He gets the same chair. He gets the same desk. I remember in my company, he was a big manager and he was in the kitchen. He broke a cup or a glass, something. He was taking out his own rubbish. And I saw it. I was very happy. In this country, there's so much respect. He was a big manager, but he broke the glass, so he has to clean it up. He cannot call a peon, come here, pick up the glass. Okay, let's do the, I think, last paragraph or second last paragraph. Okay, there's still few. Oops. What happened? Okay. Sorry, we'll just continue with our further discussion. This is a very beautiful verse. Oops. Okay. So we are doing para 6 now. Someone can do. Mohit Prabhu or Mataji, would you like to read? I'll make it bigger. I'll make it bigger.
Thank you, Prabhu. So para 6, just a yellow line, Prabhu, the full para.
Yes, Prabhuji, just a green and yellow, Prabhu. So green is the theme of the paragraph, and this is the actual purport of Prabhupada.
So para 6, Lord
6.
can only when he reveals himself. Thus, for the surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for the unsurrendered soul, he is far, far away and cannot be approached.
Yeah, so, yeah, we just discussed the example of, say, Duryodhan and Pandavas. Yes, Prabhu, please continue 7 as well.
Para 7, the Lord is not a formless entity. Saguna and
So
Nirguna.
Sagun and Nirgun, we understand. So Guna means two meanings are there, or Guna. Guna means quality as well as rope, the modes of material nature, for example. Ropes is also like modes of material nature because they bind, rope is also binding. So when we say Nirguna, what does it mean? Lord has no qualities, or Lord is beyond the modes of material nature. Which one is true? Lord has qualities, but Lord is beyond the modes of material nature. Why? Because he is the source of the modes of material nature. So he can control them as they like. We can't do that. We are under the modes of material nature. Lord is beyond the modes of material nature. 7:13 Trivirgun Mai Bhave Ibi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Nabi Janati. So Mohitam, bewildered people, illusioned people, they cannot understand me because I am the source of 3 modes of material nature. So when we talk about Sagun or Nirgun, Lord, both exist. Sagun means we are looking at the Lord, which we can look from our eyes and perceive it. And Nirgun means Lord beyond. Example given in Gajendra prayers, when Gajendra is praying many verses, and if you have read Gajendra Moksha prayers, many verses treat him, you can interpret them like he is worshipping an impersonal Lord. But at the end of prayer, which Lord appeared? A Sagun Lord appeared in front of him, isn't it? So even if you pray for Nirgun, who comes to rescue? A Sagun Lord comes and rescue. That means he has his presence in both forms. Depending on our mentality, we get that. Prabhupada said, if you are worshipping impersonal Lord, you will definitely get impersonal only. He will never reveal himself to yourself. But if you worship Sagun Lord, then you will meet with Sagun Lord. So depending on the worshipper's mentality, Lord reveals himself. Okay. Yellow one, Prabhu.
As the controller of all energies, he cannot at any time be under their influence as we are. The material energy works according to his direction. Therefore, he can use that energy for his purpose without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of that energy. The impersonal aspect of Brahman effulgence is but the glow of his personal rays, just as the sun rays are the glow of the sun god.
Yes, so we understand this example. Another reference for this one is Isopanishad itself. We'll read mantra 15. That will say exactly same thing. So devotee here, Manu Maharaj, is requesting Lord to please remove your effulgence so I can see your face. So Isopanishad clearly talking about the personal feature. Okay, last paragraph. Who wants to read?
8 to 10. Okay.
Okay, continue, Prabhu.
The Lord is within and without everything. Prahlad Maharaj and God reside everywhere.
Okay, so we already discussed that. Mahavasu Prabhu mentioned that example here. So Tadu Antarasya Sarvasya. And the last line is Tadu Sarvasya Se Bahita. So he is inside everything and he is outside everything. We also discussed about the Yashoda Maya looking in the mouth of Krishna. Okay, let's stop here. Any questions from this verse? Quick ones. I'll send this Lord's contradictory qualities. Very beautiful. Please have a look. I've been sharing these every week. Please have a look and yeah, store it nicely. Okay, no questions here. Sundar, Gopal, Prabhuji, any announcements?
Well, Krishna Prabhuji, not announcement as such. I mean, just one that on the 27th, we won't have a regular class. We'll be on 28th. Just a reminder, I'll probably put it in the message as well. And that class would be by Ghanshyam Prabhuji. So that's...
Thank you. So next week we'll have normal class, and after week it will be on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Now, very quickly, we need 2 devotees to do the revision next week. If you want to raise your hand, everyone has to do one verse, so you're not going to get out without doing it. So you can choose if you want to do verse 4 and 5 next week. One verse, around 10 minutes. and you can be as fancy as you want, or can be as simple. No one is ready, huh? Everyone is too humble or trying to. Your name will come sooner or later. Raghi Mataji today, yeah, done and dusted. Ho gaya. Okay, who wants to do? So I'll just pick up Rupam Prabhu. Would you like to do one next week?
I can do Prabhu number 5.
Number 5. Okay, so number 5 is gone. And number 4? Akhand Rasa Prabhu number 5. Number 4, Rupam Prabhu, done?
Yes, sir.
Reluctantly.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so done. Akhand Rasa Prabhu, Rupam Prabhu. So Sundar Gopal Prabhu will send the message. Okay, we'll see you all next week. Shri Isopanishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Sundara Maharani ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.